Hi, I'm Monica and this is Vegan Empowered. Today we're going to be making, you know what? This doesn't feel right because today we're going to be making football food. For our first dish today, we're actually going to be making chili. It's going to go in the crock pot, so we're going to just set it, we're going to forget it, and then it will be the star of the show. What I have here is 2 bags of Beyond Meat beef crumbles. Right here I have 3 diced tomatoes, 1 diced green pepper, and I have the equivalent of 1 full diced jalapeno. I have 2 tofurkey Italian sausages sliced up and diced. And in here I have 1 cup of black beans and 1 cup of red kidney beans. I actually did a quick soak on these. You should actually do an overnight soak for best results. I did a quick soak because I want this ready for game day. And then we're gonna add our chili seasoning. In the chili seasoning, we have 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 1 tablespoon of chipotle chili powder, 2 tablespoons of flour, 1 pinch of cloves, 1 pinch of red pepper flakes, 1 pinch of crushed red pepper ground up, and 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons, depending on how sweet you want it, of brown sugar. Then we're going to actually add my favorite ingredient, 1 12-ounce can of beer, and 1/4 to a half a cup of vegetable stock. Give it a really good stir, get everything all mixed together. I think I'm actually gonna go for the full half cup. Then we're gonna go ahead and put it on our crock pot on a high setting for 2 hours. You can do a low setting for 4 hours, but I want this ready for game day, so I'm gonna go ahead with a high setting for 2 hours. We're gonna set it and forget it. We're also gonna make some nachos today, but before we make our nachos, you gotta make your nacho chips. What I've actually done is I've taken 12 corn tortillas and I've cut them into sections of 6. It'll make about 72 chips. We're gonna fry them lightly in an all vegetable oil. Don't do too many in the pan, you don't wanna overcrowd your pan. You're gonna wait till they're lightly brown on one side, flip them over, and then cook them on the other side until they're cooked completely through. You'll actually notice that they'll be done when the bubbles kind of slowly stop. So like this one right here is slowing down. You're getting a nice golden color. You may want to make a couple extra for yourself so you have a snack while you're cooking. You're going to take them out of your oil, which is roughly at about 350 degrees. So make sure that you have a nice long set of tongs so that you don't burn yourself and you don't spatter. Once they come out of the oil, you're going to want to salt them. Look at this nice golden color. It's still a little hot. We want a nice crunch. Now that we've done our chips, we're gonna set those aside, let them cool off so that all that salt can kind of adhere to them and they get really, really crispy and crunchy. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're going to brown our meat. I use 1 package of Beyond Meat beef crumbles. I'm gonna toss that in a medium heated skillet just for a couple of seconds. I'm gonna go ahead and open another can of beer because we're actually going to use beer in our taco meat. We're actually gonna take a whole can of beer and then we're gonna use taco seasoning. Then you're gonna turn it up just a little bit. Medium-high heat. You're gonna wanna kind of bring it to almost a boil. And then you're gonna turn it back down to the low, let it simmer so that it thickens. It's like watching a pot boil. So the next step for the nachos is we are going to make a cheese sauce. Now to make this cheese sauce, we're actually going to make a roux. A roux is equal parts butter to equal parts flour. I'm actually going to use 2 tablespoons or 1/8 of a cup of butter, which means I will be using 2 tablespoons or 1/8 of a cup of flour. You want to make sure your butter is melted pretty decently before you put your flour in. If not, it will clump up and you don't want that to happen. Make sure that there's minimal clumps. And we're going to go in here, we're going to add some soy milk. It's going to be about 1/2 cup at a time, just to make sure that it gets nice and mixed in, but this time we're also going to be adding beer to this because this is going to be a cheese sauce to go on nachos. See, now it's going to look like almost like a biscuit dough, a nice cheesy biscuit dough. And this is when we're going to want to add more liquid. I'm going to add about 1/2 can of the beer. All right, more soy milk. Now at this point I'm actually going to add a diced jalapeno. I'm going to add a little bit of taco seasoning and I'm going to add 1 full tomato that's been diced. It's about a tablespoon of taco seasoning, 1 full jalapeno, and 1 full tomato diced. Yeah, I think it's a little thick, so I'm gonna add just a little bit more of the soy milk, maybe about 1/4 cup. All right, I'm gonna turn this down to low and leave that so that it stays nice and melted. We are gonna also use this as a dip. It's not just gonna go on the nachos. I'm gonna set it aside so that you can dip extra chips into the cheese. And now it's time to assemble the nachos. This is actually a black bean puree. It's almost like a refried bean. I've just added a little garlic to it, cilantro, and some lime juice. I'm gonna put this on the bottom of the pan. It's almost like we're building nacho lasagna. I'm gonna take our cooled off and waiting chips. You can just throw them in there. You don't have to really place them, make them fancy. Take some of our taco crumbles. We're actually gonna take some black beans that I've already prepared. I did a quick soak again, and I boiled about 1 cup of beans in 3 cups of water for about 2 hours. Layer it on there, and then repeat. I've already greased this pan with some of my Earth Balance butter so that everything doesn't stick to the bottom, and I've already preheated my oven to 350. Now the rest of that cheese sauce will actually go into a bowl with all the extra chips. We're gonna take some of the leftover shredded cheese that we had, just because I like things a little spicy. I'm actually going to add a couple of jalapenos to the top before we bake it. All right, we're gonna put that in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm gonna go with 15 just so that that cheese is nice and melted and you can kind of see all the chips kind of poking out. Now that I've taken the nachos out of the oven, I'm actually gonna take a little bit of taco sauce and put them over the top. And they're definitely gonna have to cool before we dig in, but they smell amazing. Some other little add-ons that you can put on here, black olives, anything that you would put on a taco, you can go ahead and put on a nacho. I actually leave out some spinach, and you can actually put it on the plate, and then you can actually make like a taco bake out of it. So I'll be leaving that out for my friends. So right here we have our chili. It's ready to go. Tastes amazing, smells awesome. I have extra cheese dip that I made with the nachos. These chips are amazing. I have some jalapenos and avocados to go with my nachos. Cauliflower buffalo wings. And buffalo ain't no chicken in here dip. Everything's been really good. This is Monica. It's been Vegan Empowered. Give us a like and a subscribe. We'll see you next time.